What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Steve's Project Car Garage. My name is Steve. Sitting behind me, of course, as you know, is my 1969 Triumph Spitfire tanker. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy restoration projects like this, please make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button because this is a long series and there's going to be a lot of good content coming up. So in the last episode, I went ahead and I welded the heel board into the car, which was a big milestone for both me and the project itself. Proved to myself that I can do this, but also went ahead and sealed up the back end of this car and really kind of got the structure of the tub in good shape. So now I'm going to start moving on to the A pillars. And so I'll go ahead and I'll show you what I'm working on, kind of give you an idea what my plan is, and we'll get cracking on it and just get a little bit of project started today. All right, so this is the A pillar. So we've got, the dash support. This is where the windshield typically goes. And then we have the A pillar. We got our mounts for the doors, hinges and stuff of that nature. So if you go ahead and take a look down in here, you'll see what we're talking about and what we're dealing with. So, I mean, this guy's completely rusted out, and somebody had previously tried to go ahead and repair it, and, well, they didn't really do that good of a job. So if you look here, you'll see this is the original lower A pillar, and it would come into the inner sill here and the sill strengthener. But this section here just completely rotted away, and all it is they did a lousy job of cutting it out. They left a lot of the holes from the tin worms in here, and so there's just so much rot. So I have a replacement panel, which is right here. So this replacement panel is going to go in, but before I can do that, I got to go ahead and sure this up and cut it out. So I was asking a lot of folks what my best approach might be on this, and I was told that it would probably be best if I actually went ahead and cut out this section here of the top A pillar, cleaned this up, welded in some new metal, gave myself a nice new flange, so that way I can use the old bottom here, which is still in the right place, as a reference point, which totally makes sense. So that's what we're gonna work on tonight. I'm actually gonna try to cut out this last little bit of the sill, and then once I have that out of the way, I should have some pretty good access to everything else. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the project, I have everything braced here. This has been braced pretty well for the last couple of, months, we'll say, going from B pillar to A pillar and then across. So hopefully we won't have a lot of flex on this. And it's also sitting on the frame still and still bolted to the frame. So I have things good and secure. So let's go ahead and pop out the wire wheel. We'll go ahead and clean this up a little bit first, get some of the paint, get some of this crap off of here. Then we'll go ahead and start cutting into this, get this off, and then we'll go ahead and make a plan for cutting this out. I'll probably use a caliper or something to go ahead and get some good measurements, make a straight, clean cut across, and then we'll create a new piece and weld it on in, hopefully tonight. If not, we'll have to pick it up the next day, but that's all right. Let's get cracking. So when I look at the A-post here, you can see there's actually a bend. I don't know if I can show you on the camera. There's a bend here, so I almost wonder if there was a small accident or something, or maybe that's just the way they put it back together. I don't know, it's possible. Not worried about it though, because we're gonna be pulling this all out. So this is kind of what we're working with though, and I think that I may end up using that weld line, honestly, as my line to cut. I don't know. What I want to try to do though is get the top part of this flange out, and once I do that, then I know that I'll be sitting on the bottom part of the A pillar and I'll have a relatively accurate measurement. So I'm going to try to use my chisel to just try to cut right across this section just to kind of split this seam. Let's keep going. All right, so now that I have this all kind of separated, you can see more what I'm working with here. So this is a box that kind of exists here that really is what reinforces the A-post itself, or the A-pillar rather. And inside of here is where one of the door hinge sections lay. And I was really hoping that I wouldn't have to dive into this section too much and that I would be able to just kind of cut right here and be on my merry way. But as you can see, that's not the case here. And so what I need to do is just find out real quick what it looks like on the other side of this, so that way when I go to put this in, just make sure I'm not screwing myself by messing up anything that holds the plate in place, because there's a little retainer that's going to hold it, keep it from dropping out all the way. Not that I think it's going to really matter all that much, but I don't want to mess it up. So let's see if I can try to get a better view from the other side. All right, so let's take a look here. I'm going to see if I could try to zoom that in a little bit. Focus in. There we go. Okay, so welcome to the inside. So this is kind of what we're looking at. This is the, I guess I covered up my finger, but there's the actual block that holds the bolt and the door hinge. And you can see that little retainer right here. So that seems to have been spared, which is good. And it looks as though I can cut pretty much right underneath it. And as long as I do that, and I stay close, I should be able to do this. I want to try to avoid cutting this, of course, and then cutting the other side of the box, which is here. But the floor looks good, besides being really rusty. So I'll definitely have a little bit of work to do there, but yeah, scary, but I think we can do it. Now what I'm curious about is cutting this without cutting that member right behind it. I try to peel back some of this non-important metal, because this is all metal that was just kind of welded on when one of the sills were replaced previously. Pull that out. Beautiful. It's right where I need to be. This metal is definitely thin here, so welding this is going to be interesting. But I should be able to work with that. Now what I need to do is come up just a hair, and I should be able to kind of just zip right across. So I planned is I'm going to cut approximately 1 inch out of this section here. What I need to do is just go on the back side, just make sure that there is nothing that is going to interfere with this. And as long as nothing's going to interfere with it, I should be pretty good to go. I think that I just got this piece of box right here, which I've already kind of planned. I'm going to end up having to just cut this out, and then I'll come back. I'll start a new cut here, cut this out, and then I should be able to maybe just separate this with the chisel and just get this little tab out. So that's going to be kind of my plan. And then from here, I'll be able to go ahead and weld in a new piece after I make it, plop it right in, and fingers crossed, Bob's your uncle. Let's get cutting. Oops, I guess that there was a little like wire loom clip there. Oh well, but yeah, look at that. That's pretty gnarly. Like that, that needed to go. So I got this section over here now where there's just a lot of rot, a lot of rot. So ultimately what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around, cut this flange right here so I can keep this actual flange. Then I'm going to try to just continue my cut all the way around. I wasn't planning on going this far on it at this moment, but really, I'm here. I may as well do it. So let me get you positioned and I'm gonna climb in and get it going. Oh yeah, I would say that had to go. All right, so here's the debris field from all of it. It's quite a lot. What I'm gonna do is clean this up real quick, and then I'm gonna go ahead and clean the firewall a bit with the wire wheel. Then I'll do a cleanup and a wrap up, and yeah, we'll make our plan to the next steps. All right, so now that I got that cleaned up, I really kind of see what I had to work with. So really, right about here, over I'll probably end up making a patch somewhere along here. This is pretty pitted. It's not terrible. It's pitted though, but the big thing is the flange all along the bottom here is just completely rotted out. So there's no easy way to save that, and as it is, I'm going to have to cut this out anyways. So I think what I'll end up doing is just making one easy patch here, throw a flange on it, put it in, and then while I'm at it, I'll also, of course, include all this piece. So we'll make a bend here, cut this out, put a flange, and make that one piece, and then of course we'll fit the post end here, or the sill end. I don't have it with me, but there's a sill end that goes on here. So that's going to be kind of the plan for that. And then over here, again, same as before, got this nicely cleaned up. We'll go ahead and put in a patch here. Then I'll go ahead and get rid of all the rot. I'll pull this up nice and tight because I have some reference points still to make sure I have it all lined up relatively evenly, but it should be pretty straightforward, I think. Put a patch in, and that's it. All right, well, that just about does it for tonight. Pretty happy with the progress that was made. This is definitely a step in the right direction. And I feel a lot more confident going into this than I ever did before, which is great. So I'm pretty happy about that. You know, like getting that heel board behind me was such a big milestone. And I know I keep coming back to it, and I apologize for that. But for me mentally, that was huge. I know that after being able to do that, I should be able to tackle this. Even though this is definitely going to be more involved, more complex, I still think that I should be able to do it. And so my plan is to do this one side first. And then once I have done this side, take all my lessons that I've learned from this, should be able to apply it to the passenger side, and should be good. Fingers crossed, that is. You know, I've said that before, right? So just kind of recap on what the actual plan is, though, is, you know, I'll get this taken care of, the top section first. That's kind of the first bit. And once I have the top section done, then I'm going to go ahead and just cut this floor out completely. I'm thinking that I can separate it at the flange and just actually remove the whole pan, because if you look here, with the amount that I'm cutting out, there really isn't that much more of that floor pan that I really need to take out. So yeah, I'm stoked, and it's Friday night for me. So once I get this video in the can, I'll edit it, probably try to toss it up for, you know, early part of the week. I think I'll probably end up coming out for one more night this weekend, and see what kind of progress I can get with making patch panels. Fingers crossed, right? So anyways, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. And just as always, please just remember, don't be that dreaded previous owner. Cheers.